Hi, welcome, and thank you for finding this video. I really appreciate it. My name is Futuristic Illionaire. Yes, and I am a vocalist. I will be producing electronic music in the future. And I grew up playing piano, and I grew up playing some drums, like a big drum kit. And that was like in a room where I grew up, beside a piano. We had this huge room that was just a piano and a drum kit. So the piano was mine, the drum kit was my brother Mike's. My legal name is Amy. You can call me Amy too. Or you can call me Amelia. Amelia is the Latin version of Amy. So I grew up like being very musical, and I used to go into like a trance state with my piano. And my piano was deep because my grandfather gave it to me. And he was what I would call an advanced soul. You know, just like did things that he wanted to do, made things happen, and went out into the world like a ball of fire and just blazed his own trail. Like built the most beautiful house in the world that I have ever seen, that I got to grow up in. A replica of his favorite castle in the United Kingdom that he drew. He said he like was wandering around on adventures and he saw lots of beautiful castles, and that was his dream at that time, to be looking at castles. He'd fought in the war and stuff before that and like went through some really hard things, and so I guess like finally when he had like freedom, he wanted to see the castles, right? Because here in Canada you don't see like any buildings that are that old. You see some that are like maybe 100 or 200 years old, and that's considered old, which that's not old. Compared to the world, that's nothing. You know, we have in Canada like old mountains and some old trees left. I'm living right now beside some of the last remaining super old trees, and I take that very seriously because I do my best to honor the spirits of these trees. They are very, very, very special to me. And they're right here. They're all around my studio. And I can't believe this is real. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I've done the things I've done. I can't believe I've met the people I've met. I've been on such an adventure, you guys. I've been on such an epic adventure, and it's been surreal. And I'm here to tell you the full story, and that's why I'm creating this YouTube. I got my first computer on the last day of 2011. I don't have a cell phone. An extraordinarily wealthy art buyer gave me a cell phone in like 2001. Yeah, 2001. And this was an angel. He used to play in like a Grateful Dead kind of band in the Kootenays, where the Shambhala Music Festival is now. Which is kind of maybe how you've heard of that area if you're into electronic music or whatever. It's like a healing zone. There's lots of healers there. And I'm very drawn to like sacred spots on the earth, but at the same time, after I've said that, like I really believe every inch of earth is sacred to me. And I feel like I'm very, as a Virgo, like very in tune with what Earth really is. I feel like there's still a lot of people that are confused about that. So I feel like it's my mission to help my human family members, as many as possible, to understand just how magic this place is. Because I'm connected, I'm grounded, and I'm a space cadet at the same time. Because I feel the more you become grounded and connected with the magic of Earth, the living magic, the higher your spirit can soar, the more you can astral travel. Earth is an astral traveler. If you haven't noticed, we're floating through space. We've just gone into a photon belt which is huge. Like, this is a big deal in a very positive way, and you need to understand this, because I'm freaking out because, like, I research what's really going on, and then I'll walk around and I talk to people, and everyone I've been talking to recently is just mind blown by the things that I have to say, but in accordance with the research that I do, because I research extensive information on what's really going on with the universe, with stars, with consciousness. And not only do I research like through computers, I'm new to computers. I'm not new to books at all, but I do most of my research through traveling and through meeting people that I know are honest. I meet a lot of people from various walks of life that are honest. I attract honesty. And I'm very grateful for this fact. It's been incredible. Like, I've met so many inspiring people from everywhere in the world, and I haven't left North America yet by choice. I've had people try to give me too much money and to make me famous, like a bunch of times. And I've had a lot of people try to just kidnap me to this or that studio, or like tell me to come stay with them at their amazing place that they have, that just like they send me pictures online, and it's like insane. I can't even remember everything. It's like all I do when I am online, now that I have access. I've been using computers on and off since 2003. 2003 was when I got my email address, and I used a computer once for a couple of days in 2003. And then I was freaked out too, because I was like, oh no, I'm like totally becoming part of the Matrix. And I wanted to avoid it because I have really sensitive eyes, but it's deep too. It's like my eyes are so deep that they're a part of my soul, and I'm aware of that, because I'm aware that like flesh is as sacred as the soul, but it's all intertwined. It's not separate. Your soul is not in a different place than your flesh. You know, like maybe parts of it for sure are, but your flesh, for as long as you have your flesh is your soul. And don't you dare tell me anything different. And the more we purify our flesh, and the more we are grateful, the more we will see this earth blossom into paradise. I have already seen it in pockets. And I represent this knowledge. And I represent this knowledge with a lot of love. And I can honestly say that I live by the golden rule. And I'm sharing this with you with love, not with ego, not with look at me, I'm better. No, does that seriously have anything to do with that? The golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Can you imagine? Let's visualize the future together right now. Join me. Wherever you are. Whenever you're hearing this, it doesn't matter. You're with me. We are immortal souls. We're always together. We're always a part of each other. Yes, I like my space. I'm like obsessed with my space, you know. I like isolate myself like crazy. Because I've always had this thing with society where I'm just like, don't think for me. You know, like, I feel like in school, I was always surrounded by teachers who were just kind of like, I hate to say it, but kind of followers of the system, and they were always kind of like, oh, Amy, put that drawing book down, put those pencil crayons away, and do this history and study men with guns, because they're getting paid, and one day you'll be able to get paid too to hurt people. And fuck that shit. I've always known that I hate that shit. And yes, I swear occasionally, and I usually don't, to be honest, but occasionally, I have some stuff to get out. Sometimes, So, yeah, it's interesting. I live a very surreal life, and so I'm sharing this with you, not to be like, oh, look at her, she's so cool, but no, to be more like, hey, we are cool, we are humanity, we have the universe at our fingertips, all of us. Don't tell me that you don't. Don't tell me that you're not empowered. Don't even dare tell me that you don't have a dream. And never tell me that you don't have an artistic bone in your body. Because the human skeleton is art, embodies art. You have no idea how many people have walked up to me when I've been painting, like somewhere in public at a festival, or painting or drawing somebody's body, or drawing a canvas, or doing a mural in a backpacker's hostel, or wherever. You have no idea of how many people have walked up to me and the first thing they've said to me was, I don't have an artistic bone in my body, and I wish I could be an artist, and I wish I had that courage and that freedom. If you wish that you had something, all you need to do is dive into the activity. See our bones? Are you moving my hand for me? Is a computer simulating this? No. This is my free will. I am moving my hand the way I want to. I like to dance and stuff. Sometimes I dance for days without stopping. Especially with the right people around. So, it's such an interesting time to be here. I feel powerful. I feel as powerful as any other being that has ever lived. And I want everyone to feel this with me. Because when we all choose to feel this, to feel how powerful we are, we will all feel more powerful. When more people choose to feel the joy that only freedom can bring. Paradise. When we are living in our creative bliss, and we all have it, because we are all made from it, we create paradise. The world we carry in our hearts blossoms all around us. It's always been that way. It will always be this way. I have seen so many miracles that most people aren't even ready to hear about. And I guess that's why I like singing and painting, because at least I can give people clues about what I've experienced. It's always a story, right? It's like I'm always telling my true story through all these like paintings and singing and dancing and sharing, writing, rapping, experimenting. It's endless. So I want you to know that I care about you. And I feel like too many people out in the world don't really feel like they have enough people caring about them. And that bothers me. And I feel like the world is finally ready to get to know me. So my legal name is Amy Elizabeth Frith. And it's very interesting. For some reason, even though I'm aware that visual art and music are connected and are one creation, for some reason, I just really like the sound when I say futuristic illionaire. And so for me, that relates with sound right now. I don't know if this will ever change, but my music name is Futuristic Illionaire. My contemporary visual art name is Amy Elizabeth Frith. I might play with switching these up a little bit and mixing it together and all that. Like, occasionally with music I will say that I'm Amy or Amelia. Or Samurai is actually a nickname that one of my best friends gave to me. A girl who has traveled with me and knows things that I can't put into words, right? When you travel, oh man, have you ever traveled by yourself? I can't totally hear you, but I feel like I'm hearing intuitively some different types of answers, right? So I'm hearing you. If you haven't traveled alone, I so strongly recommend it. And I mean, you have to do what you want to do. You have your reason for being here and you have your free will. But traveling alone will always be one of my favorite things. And it's funny, like, so many people that I meet that are like, you know, spiritual and awake and free-spirited and stuff and artistic and all that, often say to me, in reference to the Hopi prayer, you know, which is very special, the quote-unquote, the time of the lone wolf is over, right? And I resonate with that on certain levels because I feel like it is definitely, like, I've been very introverted and I've done a lot of things alone. Like, I've set up studio spaces of my dreams in a variety of locations very deep in the mountains, mostly in the Kootenays, a little bit in the Rockies, a little bit in the Monashees, a little bit on the West Coast Islands and Sunshine Coast of Canada, and also for a couple of seasons in Ontario. Well, I grew up in Ontario. I was always an artist, even though I didn't have a studio, right? I had my bedroom, but it was, oh, I could go on and on about how much I hated having a nice house. Like, I grew up with the nicest house, and so many people would come to my house, and they'd be like, they'd just chill out when they walk in the door. It would just hit them like this magic, right? Because my grandfather was a visionary, and I'm very in tune with how deep his spirit was. Not everyone in the family totally had the patience to listen to his stories about how he created this house, but I would ask him about every detail, and like, he used to tell me, and it's flooding through my head right now because I'm like, I know why I was raised in this magical house, because this house was so magic, and the main reason, it was in tune with the earth spirits, with the nature spirits, with the stars as well. The well was witched. My grandpa was a well witcher. He doused it. So our water was like spring water, and hence why I am the way I am. I'm not a normal human. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm quite pure in a lot of ways, because I feel like I deserve it, you know? It's not always easy to like be a pure spirit in this world, and I'm doing my best to share, because I want people to be encouraged to realize that being pure is really worthwhile. And I don't want to ever tell you what to do. I want you to exercise your free will and be who you choose to be. But I just feel like there's so many influences in the world that don't always, and this is changing, but there have been so many influences, and there still are some, they're just totally controlled by mind control and are not really living with freedom. And they sometimes have these methods of like making you think that they're more free than they are, so that you like buy their product or whatever, right? And I think it's great to buy products that you believe in. That there's nothing wrong with buying and selling. Buying and selling to me is like natural. It's beautiful. It's like when you buy something that somebody made, you're proving to them that you really do care about what they're doing, and that you think that what they're doing belongs on this planet, and that's beautiful. I sell my paintings. That's how I live. and I don't always sell a lot of them, and sometimes I sell too many and it's too overwhelming for me, so then I hide again in the woods for a few months, and I don't know, I'm just like, I'm so eccentric. But yeah, like I've had seriously more $1 million opportunities than I can remember all at once, and it's overwhelming, but I don't even understand why it happens. I think it's because I read a lot, right? And I read a lot about the law of attraction and abundance, and I take notes and I focus and I work really hard in it. Like I'm extremely innovative, that's for sure. But and I don't put limits in my brain that much. Like I feel like a lot of people kind of, you know, your brain is kind of like a sculpture, right? So just like your whole body. And I feel like a lot of people like sculpt their brains to be like filled with like limits, like, you know, like fences everywhere and stuff. And I don't have any fences in my brain. I'm not into fences. I could write a song about why I'm not into fences. I actually learned some things. Here I go talking about Shambhala again. I'm way too connected to the Shambhala Music Festival. Too much. It just, I think about it all the time now. It's crazy. I've been going for years, and I didn't want to go when I first lived in the Kootenay Mountains. I didn't want to go to Shambhala. I thought it was full of like boys that don't care about girls, and just people that are just like doing too many drugs and just, I don't know. I just thought it was like too many people, and there were only like 80 people there. I just wanted to hang out with groups of like 2 or 3 people, or maybe 5 here and there. And usually I just wanted to be alone in those days. It's just how I was. And I made solid friends, because like usually when I would hang out with friends, I'd hang out with them for a long period of time, like a few days. Because to be close to me, you kind of have to be able to put in some time. Like, yeah, you kind of have to be able to do things that take a while, because that's just how I like to make my friends. Like, I like to be able to go to my friend's place, or I like to go on a trip with my friends for like a few days at least, or a few months. Like, I like people that have time, that have the knowledge that we can make as much time as we want to do whatever we want. So, like, if I want to go on a trip, I go. I don't usually have a plan when I go on a trip as to when I will return to wherever I left, or often I don't even return to where I left and I just go somewhere else. And that's just how I live. That's how I've been living since I was an adult, since I turned 18, 19. I traveled at 18, but I ended up going back to my parents' house. And then at 19 I was just gone. Like, I just like moved across the country. I tried to move by myself, but I do have some really amazing friends, and I have too many amazing friends. That's another weird thing about me, is like I make friends so easily, and I think there are some people that like people that don't know me very well, if they meet me just for like a day or a few minutes, some people think that I'm like flaky, because like I do have a lot of friends, and I have some really beautiful friends that say to me, Amy, you can't have a lot of friends. Like, you might think you do, but I can count all the people I can trust on one hand, you know, like my dad says that. And a lot of my friends say to me, Amy, I only have a small amount of solid friends, but they're the best. And I'm just not like that. Like, I'm really not like that. Like, yes, I have 10 best friends. Like, you know, you have your BFFs, best friends forever. I might even have up to 30 of those, or 40. But I have definitely a top 10 and a top 5, you know. And, like, it fluctuates a little bit, you know. Because, like, I travel so much, and, like, some people I almost forget about, like, end up coming back or whatever. But it's so, I never fully forget about anyone ever. But that's the good thing about having this vast brain where I'm always thinking about all of humanity. I'm never ignoring anyone. Never. Like, it's in these colors. My love for everyone. It's so deep. It's so huge. You know, I dedicate everything to just like pouring my soul into the universe and learning to balance it out, learning to take in harmony with that so that I can continue to give more. And all I want to do is be the most positive force that I can be. That's my number one intention at all times. In my opinion, positive energy is so much more potent than negative energy. So I think it's wise to keep positive energy on my side anyway. I know that. I mean, I don't always know what's wise for you, but I have my ideas, right? We all have our biased opinions based upon personal experience, and that's natural. I just feel like I have so much love. That's like the main thing. My main message! So funny. I know it sounds like it's just whatever. It sounds, I'm not even gonna say what I was just about to say. So, Futuristic Illionaire. This is kind of like a project, this name. Most of the work so far to date, this is February 2014. 14 is, I was born on the 14th of September, so I really resonate with this 14. I've always loved the number 4 especially, and just the fact that that's at the edge of a 4-digit number, that excites me, even though linear time is kind of a joke. It's like also fun to play with numbers, you know? So, I've always loved 4, and I'm just gonna drink some of my chai. Love good tea. So, I have my friends here with me. I'm gonna show you them. They're these guys. I was like, I don't know, sometimes I get tired of doing things alone, and this is like almost a scary thing to do with this YouTube channel, right? So I brought these guys with me. This one I've had since I was really little. Like, how long have you been with me? I don't even remember her name, but I think right now it's Fly, because she has butterflies all over her. She's like a pony, kind of like a unicorn, but her horn's invisible. I should totally mold her a horn out of like clay or something. Maybe I'll do that in a YouTube lessons or something. But yeah, I love like taking things and adding them to my art too. That's why I'm a mixed media artist when it comes to the visual art. Like, I can take anything, a crystal even, and make that an art supply. This is one of my favorite crystals. My friend Jamie gave me this. You can see how messy my nails are. I was trying to do my nails and they just got messy, and I couldn't complete them. This has never happened to me in my life. I'm a Virgo, right? So usually I want to finish my nails before I do a YouTube channel. And this, well, I've only done 3, but that's what it's been like so far. And I didn't finish these. I was too excited. Like, look at them. Look at how bad that nail job is. It's horrible. And I can't believe that I did this. It's basically because I'm using this is my favorite nail polish. It's called Butter London, and it's actually pretty good for you. Like, it's probably got some toxic stuff, but I'm an alchemist, I work with paint, right? So toxic doesn't always mean bad. Depends on where you put it. Depends on the amount that you're using and everything. It's got magical properties, right? So it's all a balance. But I think this stuff is worth mentioning because it's so good. It's crooked right now, but I kind of like it when it's crooked. I don't know, it's like my favorite nail polish. And so I found it in Banff at this store called Smashing, and I'm gonna get something for you to show you. I still have the bag from Smashing. I'm guessing that you can hear me. I'm looking around my cabin for it. It's in my studio. But I'll show you something else. I just knew I had to go back there and grab something. And I'm gonna show you this because this is really special to me. My birthday was in September, and my friend Jamie actually gave me this too. That's interesting that I mentioned that he gave me this too. He's a really good friend. Really good friend. Like, I have some kick-ass friends, and I'm really grateful for that, you know? Some of my friends, they can't always handle me, like, especially on Facebook. Like, I've only had a computer for 2 years now. About 2 years. Like, I got this is what I'm talking into right now. It's a beautiful, you know, Apple iMac, one of these thingies. I love this design. I love Apple computers. I have a deep love for them, actually. I have a lot of visions of what I'm going to be doing with them in the future. I feel like their designs are not perfect, but I feel like the designers need to meet me. And if you're not deep enough, you won't understand that, but that's okay. Because some of you probably are. And yeah, so I feel like they're coming along, you know. They got some good aspects to them. Like this, I just love the way this looks. It's nice and simple, you know. Like when you're looking at colors all day and you're like coming to write something that means everything to you that you just want to share with people you love. It's so nice to just find a way to do it with something that doesn't distract those thoughts, you know. And I find with the Zen styles of a lot of things, like it depends, I like a lot of styles, but with technology I like it to be really Zen. And I just feel like this is nice and Zen. It doesn't distract me from things that are not technology. That's the main reason why I love it. So you'll probably never see me using a PC. I'm not like against them or anything. I just don't like them for my body. So it's interesting because like sometimes I catch myself saying things that sound like so white girlish, you know, so valley white girl from a little village, and I'm okay with that. It's like whatever, like sharing my voice with the world is gonna be like that. Like I know there are gonna be people that are just gonna be like, she's so lame because she's like so blah blah blah, so valley girl, or so like countryish. But I love where I come from. I love who I am. I'm exactly who I want to be, and I really want to encourage good people to be proud of being good. And I really want to encourage people that maybe have done things that they're not proud of to just let it go and realize you can always be new. Every day is new. Do you know what a gift that is? Like, do you ever think about it? Like when you wake up, wow, I just had a transforming sleep that charged me up magically. I didn't have to try to sleep. Somehow nature just puts me to sleep when I need to sleep. And then you wake up and then you just feel like reborn. That's how I feel every day. And that's to be honest, that's the number one reason why I love being my own boss. And it's the one reason why I love being artistic. It's so fun to just wake up in a studio in the woods, and I'm sure I'll set some up in cities too in the future. It's just so fun to wake up with a pile of art and just dive into it, like as if you're a dolphin in the ocean. That's what it feels like to me. It's just priceless. It's never about the money for me at all. It's about the experience. It's about the mission of the soul. Just like having something that you know is lucid. A lucid creation is just the most natural thing. Everyone has the ability to be in a lucid state. What does lucid means? It means you know you're creating, and you are creating with that awareness. Do you know what I mean? My voice got all like balanced there. My voice is all over the place and I don't care. I've studied so much sound healing. I've met so many shamanic healers, world renowned. They always love me if they're masters. Like if they're like, it's like the more famous they are, the more widely recognized they are, the more they understand me. If they're trying to be like someone else and they're not quite there yet, you know, they're not quite in themselves, that's when they don't get me, because I'm so out there. I'm like so eccentric that if you're not confident in who you are, that's when you're not going to appreciate my confidence. Because my confidence is huge. And I do not say that with an ego. I say that to encourage. I say that to share, to give that away. Like, I want to see everyone being confident. You know, like, I want to see a humanity just blossom like a lotus flower. Together we can all do this. It's our time. It's the most incredible time to be on planet Earth. And that's not putting anyone down in the past. That all of our ancestors who have gone to other places were here in their time to be here, and that was sacred and so special, and I'm so grateful for every single being who has walked this earth, because this earth would not be what it is now without everyone who's been here. And I'm so in love with this place. I'm so in love with this place on such a huge, deep level. You know, it's like Earth to me, I have my moments where Earth is so tiny that it fits inside of my eyes or inside of my heart. And then I have my moments where Earth to me is just massive, and I'm just this little teeny tiny cell in the whole of like Gaia, right? It's like, so it's so magical. It's so quantum. And right now, so many of us are becoming aware of the quantum physical properties. I actually have a friend in Toronto that used to put me in just random films in high school. And I knew he was going to go somewhere. Everyone did, because in every class he had like 120%, like above perfect. Because he's like kind of nerdy, but like a cool nerd. I think everyone's basically cool in my books. I've always treated everyone as though they are anyway. But I feel like everyone has a gift that's equally of value, but not everyone is encouraged to develop it. And not everyone chooses to have the courage to develop it. But I'm telling you, if you fit into that category, if you feel that you have not given yourself the encouragement to develop your favorite talents or your favorite skills or your favorite abilities, it's never too late. Never. 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 Like, every day is such a gift. And I just feel like the past is always like the perfect book of lessons, right? It's like a history book. You can like scan through it in your brain whenever you want. But I feel like the future right now, the future makes me so happy. Because it's one with what I'm feeling in the past, in the present, I mean. It's one with what I'm feeling here, and with what I'm feeling here, what I am feeling here, I mean, is like, it's endless. It's truly endless. And I'm seeing abundance for everyone. Like, if we look at the law of attraction, it's really our natural state to live in abundance. And I have a lot of ideas as of how to spread abundance in a fair and just way around the planet. I feel like if you want to look at it in the dualistic sense of there being a light side and a dark side, which I don't really look at it that way, but sometimes I do, just for fun. Like, on a small level I do. If you want to look at it that way, we can see that there's like the dark side and the light side. I feel like right now the dark side is so dark. It's like so intense. Like the old structures, the old like paradigm, the old government, the old like just all these people doing things that they don't really want to do, but they're like enforcing all this pain on others because they think that someday their pain will end if they cause others to have pain and be enslaved. And it's just like hilarious. Like, personally, I don't buy into any of that, and it doesn't really affect me that much, to be honest. And I mean, I could write books about this. Like, yes, I'm affected by everything, but because I'm so in tune with the earth, with the stars, with the vastness of the universal laws of nature, because I've given myself the opportunity to sit in meditation for 10 days, 3 times, in Vipassana centers, plugging into Gaia, because I've given myself the opportunity to dance for countless days, many times, surrounded by musicians and artists, out in the mountains, in the desert, on the beaches, in cities, because I am a warrior of the light that does what the light wants to do. Nobody can stop me from being me. Never. And do I share this with ego? On the contrary. I'm giving this to whoever wants it, because I feel like it's my duty, because I feel like I came here with a purpose, because the more I see people around me being free with me, the easier it becomes for me to be free. And let me tell you, I've had to work hard for my freedom. I've had to learn to listen to my inner voice beyond all external voices that are all very beautiful and meaningful, and that I'm grateful for every external voice. But through it all, I have to hear my own internal voice in everything I'm hearing in order for me to maintain the clarity of my path. And I feel so clear. I feel so clear. And I feel like because of this, that's why I'm sharing. I have so much to give to you. Doesn't matter who you are. I'm connected to everybody. I've always been this way. I don't know if you've read about like crystal or indigo kids, but I'm definitely one of those, you know. And I'm not a kid anymore, but I am at the same time. Like, I don't really want to grow up. Not like some people do. No, I might make millions, I might make billions, I might make trillions. I might even make more than trillions. Hence my music name, Futuristic Illionaire. But I will never grow up in the way that a lot of people have chosen to grow up. Not my path. No judgment. I love people. But I see a lot of mental slavery. And that's not me. You know, it's like I see how everything I see on the outside, on one level, is a reflection of what's happening in me. When I see mental slavery, I don't resonate. I don't feed it. And I don't join forces with it. I see it as an invisible force. It's something that captures a soul on a temporary basis. But it has nothing to do with infinity. It has nothing to do with nature. It has nothing to do with the natural nature that we all are. We are all equally connected to nature. I'm telling you this. I've lived in some of the most beautiful forests, in some of the most beautiful architecture, in some of the most simple Zen cabins, in mansions, on beaches, lakefront, waterfront, oceanfront, or close to it also, up on mountains, incredible views. I've always been that one where everyone's just like, Amy, how do you do this? Like, what the fuck? How did you, like, why do you have this view? Where did you get this, like, ability to manifest studio spaces even when you don't have any money? Like, what the hell? Because you don't want money, because the monetary system, because the banks and the control and the blah, 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 blah. And, like, I don't know, I'm just so stoked because my friend actually took me to his place in Vancouver recently and showed me a Bitcoin computer. I got to feel the Bitcoin computer. I got to put my hands near it and like watch it buzz and feel the energy. And like now that I understand the Bitcoin currency, Bitcoin, one word, Bitcoin. Now there have been other alternative banking money flow systems, financial systems that I have researched over the past few years since I've been able to use computers comfortably, and nothing has resonated with me like the Bitcoins. Google is looking into connecting with Bitcoins in accordance with my research. I am quite certain that Google will be connecting with the Bitcoin currency in a major way, and that just changes the whole game. So when I read about that recently, a week or two ago online, thank God for Twitter. I'm so new to Twitter, and it's so funny because I think a lot of people that use it have cell phones, and I just use it from my iMac when I'm in studio space, and it's just hilarious to me. Like, I feel so out of place when I'm using it, but the reason why I like it is because I'm often silent, right? I'm often painting. I'm often making music, hiking in the woods, camping for days. I often have no time limit. So when I do encounter a soul, like a musician or an artist or a thinker of some sort, a business entrepreneur with innovative ideas, when I encounter a soul that I really feel connected with on a level that's like, ooh, I could create something with this person because they're open enough, sometimes I write a bit too much. And I lost one of my favorite Facebook friends on my father's birthday, actually. The day I launched my YouTube channel. About 2 hours after I launched my YouTube channel on October 21st of 2013, I lost one of the most amazing producers in the world to Facebook. I lost my Facebook connection with him, which was actually one of the most medicinal things for my path, because there's so many other ways to connect with the world. And I was kind of typing, like, maybe almost a bit too much on some level. I don't regret any of it, but if I was to continue writing to him, it just wasn't the right way to communicate. I want to collaborate with him, and I get frustrated because I'm so different, right? I'm so different to the way that I connect with music and with art. Like, I really am innovative, and it makes it harder sometimes, but I like it. It's like I need to have this weirdo soul, because, like, this is who I am, and it feels stimulating to be a bit weird. So here's the deal, like, with music. So I got this computer 2 years ago. I had MySpace. I set up a MySpace in around 2006-ish, when I first started spending seasons here on the island. Before that, I was in the Kootenays and the Rockies and a bit in the Monashees for a number of years. And I used to visit the West Coast a lot. And I used to camp a lot on the Sunshine Coast, and I used to camp in Tofino, and I used to just, like, wander around Victoria a lot and stuff, just for, like, short seasons. And then basically, okay, here's what happened. I grew up in Grand Valley, Ontario, which is near Orangeville, which is really close to Toronto. It's like an hour and a half drive north of Toronto in the Headwater Hills. It's a really sacred area because it's, like, filled with wetlands. And I'm really watery. I'm a Virgo, but, like, I have this watery spirit. I love water. I love hanging out where I can swim and stuff in the sun. That's, like, the best thing ever to me. And once I swim, it's kind of like when I talk. Like, I don't always swim and I don't always talk, but when I do, I can just go forever. Like, so my friends know to say to me sometimes, Amy, let's go dance. And then I remember, you know? Otherwise I can get carried away with just, like, painting or writing or something. So I love friends. Yeah. I'm grateful for friends, because it's the same with dancing. Once I start dancing, I don't want to stop dancing either. So, like, I need people around me to remind me of, like, other things, because I get so zoned out. I get so zen into whatever I'm doing, and it's, like, blissful, right? But I love having people in my life because, yeah, they just, like, pull me out of a pattern that might be inhibiting me from growing in another way. And I just want to grow as much as I can in as many ways as I can, you know? So, oh, and this guy, this was given to me by one of my, I think I can call him a friend, one of my Kootenay friends. One of the Shambhala boys. I don't know if he's a friend. He's like a part of my kinda-ish star family, one of my soul groups, but not the core one. Not even close to the core one. I thought he was. I saw his art and I was like, oh, he's my soulmate. And then, no, I was so wrong. That's the thing. It's like, you break your heart sometimes and you get your heart broken really badly only to learn that you're even stronger than you were before that happened. It's like, nothing has hurt me more than love and boys. And that's why I usually avoid them. I usually avoid them. So right now I'm safe because I'm in love with a man who lives in the United Kingdom and I live in Canada. But I'm a gypsy. I'm like a free spirit, so I'm probably going to go and live there. But not because of him. I was planning to go and live there when I was a kid. Like I promised my grandparents, who are very mystical in my eyes, when I was a child, that I would go and spend extensive periods of time there and like live there for a while. Because they used to go there and come back and tell me magical stories. And they basically just said, Amy, like, it's for you. It's like, it's built for you. Like, London is like built for you. It's waiting for you. And like, I don't know, it's not just for me, but to tell a kid that when you're magic and you've just created all this magical stuff, it's a good thing to do. But anyway, I mean, it's all built for all of us, everything. Literally. Everything on Earth is just perfect on one level. There's so many issues and problems that we have with, like, you know, the nuclear fallout in Japan. This is a big deal for me because I'm on the West Coast right now, so I've really been feeling that. And the conclusion that I've come to with that, being all indigo crystal and all that, and spacey, and it's really just like an opportunity to make sure that my light body's activated and to make sure that I'm really focusing on what really matters, like healing. You know, I'm eating a lot of miso soup, which protects your cells actually from nuclear damage, and doing my best to refrain from eating refined sugar, which is like the demon food, right? It like basically eats away at you instead of feeding you something. So I occasionally eat a bit. I fall out and have, like, because I live on this acreage right now where my father lives, and he sometimes eats too much chocolate. And so occasionally I cave in and eat chocolate with him. Not good. Raw chocolate that's sugar-free is so good. And I just, yeah, I keep forgetting to make it here. I totally should. Usually when I live, like, in other places, I usually like make a lot of healthy stuff. I do here too, but here I don't have a kitchen in my cabin, so I'm kind of like, I'm really zenning out. Like I have like an outhouse, and I have like, there's another building that I can walk to that's just like going down a hall that has like a washroom and a kitchen and everything. But I'm just in this like space that has no running water. I have a tap that's running water outside of my deck. And this might not be what it sounds like. Like the land here is magic. It's so beautiful. And it's an unfinished space. See, I grew up in a mansion that had kind of everything. I mean, not the hugest mansion in the Orangeville area. There are some crazy huge mansions that some of my friends grew up in, but like, I grew up in kind of just like 3,000 square feet. It's big. To some people it's a mansion, to some people it's not that big, but you know, perspective is an interesting thing. We all kind of create our perspective based on the unique experiences we've had, and I think that's what's fascinating about everyone. Like, I also hear a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, I wish I was interesting like you. You're so interesting. People always say this to me, and I know it happens for a reason, because my answer is always the same. It's always, you think I'm interesting because you're interesting. You know, you can't see something in someone without it being in you to some degree. It's like, everyone is interesting. I know that because I have the patience to figure out what it is. Like, even if somebody doesn't have, like, art is really a shamanic thing, you know? And there's a reason why people come up to me and tell me things they don't normally tell other people. It's like they trust me because they see that I'm clearly connecting with divine forces that are positive and a part of all creation, right? So I really appreciate when people come up to me and say, often they don't even introduce themselves. They just start telling me their life story, and it's so enriching, and I really appreciate it. So a lot of people will say things like, yeah, I live a boring life. It's like a confession or something, right? And meanwhile, they usually have more money than I do. That's gonna change, because like that's my own creation. I've said no to too much money. It's because usually when money is offered to me, it's like is too much. Like in the past, with the way my mind was working, I kind of thought money was maybe a bad thing because of the way the banks work. And because, like, with every dollar that gets spent, like, a lot of the money goes towards killing kids in poverty-stricken countries and blah, blah, blah. And I see that humanity is a family. I've always felt that way since I was a baby. I mean, I don't know if I don't remember thinking about that when I was a baby, but I know I felt it. And I know when I started thinking as a little kid, I always used to say, like, I love everybody, and I always felt it. I always felt like just I was obsessed with finding footage of Africa, and I always loved like just seeing people living simply, where they're like touching the earth more than what a lot of people around me were doing. But I've always been obsessed with touching the earth. And I think part of that is my mother's mother was a master gardener, and grew the hugest garden in our village. And people looked up to her, and she didn't have a sign, but it was basically kind of a market garden. Like, people just heard through word of mouth in a small village that my grandmother, Margaret Bell, had like the best corn, you know, and the best peas, and like it was all organic, right? So it was like all made with love, grown with love, and she was known to have like the best green thumb in our village. But she used to say to us, like, I remember asking her, I was like, Grandma, can I have a green thumb? And she was like, Amy, it's just love. If you have the love, then your thumb is green. And I remember, like, kind of being confused, because I'd, like, look at my thumb and I'd be like, it's not green. And then I'd look at hers, too, and I'd be like, I don't see your thumb as green. But, yeah, I'm still the same person I was when I was a kid. And, okay, so because of my eyes, I'm going on so many tangents, but I don't care. It's like, whatever. If you have the patience to listen to me, good for you. And if you don't, it's all good. If you get tired of it, shut it off. I don't care. This is just me being me and doing what I feel comes from my heart. That's it. Right? Free. Spontaneous. This is how I am. So all the time. Always spontaneous. Occasionally I stick to dates when it comes to like yoga classes or art exhibits or performance of some sort. I haven't done a lot of performance in my adult life, but I'm remembering that I'm a performer. I used to love to sing in front of like big audiences, and I've met some big people like in the music industry and in the sound healing circles in the world, and in the shamanic, all kinds of healers that deal with sound, and masters of every kind. I don't stick to one crowd, you know. I'm free. I deal with everybody. I just follow my feelings, and I don't have a clique, really, you know. A lot of my friends have like cliques, and I'm friends with people in different cliques, and usually when there's a clique of people that are really tight, there's usually like one of them that I really connect with, like deeper than the rest, or not deeper but more closely, or there's a couple of them that like become my good friends. That's just how it's been, and like that can change. I'm always open to connecting with everyone. I'm always open to giving people a chance, but I'm not going to not be who I am, you know? I'm so in love with knowing that my path is all about healing the whole world, and I have my own way of going about holding that focus, you know? And I feel like everyone does too. Everyone has like their own way of fitting in with healing the world and making paradise on earth blossom really fast. And I'm here to tell you a lot of things that mind control may have somehow blocked your vision from seeing. Sometimes I know too much. I know a lot, okay? I've seen a lot of miracles happen between me and nature and the land. And okay, to give you an example of this is to do with humanity, human nature, too. Amachi. Have you heard of Amachi? I can't hear you, but my higher self can. So I'm probably hearing a mixed amount of answers now. Well, Amachi, A-M-M-A, kind of similar to Amy, right, in a sense. Amachi, she has a very long name. It's a very beautiful name. And she is one of my favorite inspirations in terms of guidance. Because I'm very different from her. But my very good friend, Anita, actually told me about Amma when we were living in adjacent eco-villages in the Kootenay Mountains in like 2001. Yeah, and we were both living in straw bale houses in different kind of eco-communities that were like connected through trails. And so I was like up like 3 kilometers up the mountain from her. And so we'd visit each other like all the time. It was so healthy because we were like so close, and it was like a big hike in between our places, and we were both just like making art all the time. I was working with the Slocan Valley Mural Project actually. I like got picked up hitchhiking by one of the heads of it, and she just like hooked me up with an interview the next day, and I was like totally out of money, and I had this van that I'd been driving through the mountains, and it just kind of crashed, and I just like ended up like finding this like amazing place. Well, actually I found the place before it crashed, but still basic story is the same. Like I found this amazing huge studio with huge windows and straw bale in an eco community, and like I could play the loudest music. I often find studios where I can play like really loud music and none of the neighbors are close enough to even hear, and it's really nice. It's really free because like I'm really into bass and I really like high quality music, and I'm very picky about what I listen to. And if my friends ever like send me stuff online, I do my best to listen to everything that a friend wants to share with me. And if friends are hanging out with me, I'll totally always take the time to like listen to what is being offered. But when I'm in my own studio, man, am I ever picky. So if you're one of my SoundCloud friends and I like you, consider yourself special. I mean, everyone is special, I know that. Seriously. But it's natural to find music that resonates with you, and I think that has a lot to do with not music being better or worse. I think all music and all art is very, very equally special because it's always about the soul growing, right? And I think, like, I come from a village where there aren't a lot of artists, and the idea of taking art or music seriously enough to create a career, a full-time career out of it, is just generally in my home village seemed to be completely unrealistic and unpractical, right? Because it's like a farming village, and it's not just a farming village now. It's becoming more and more of a bedroom community. A lot of the farms are like shutting down. This is all gonna probably change a lot. I see the farms will come back probably, not probably, inevitably, but in that area, I don't know. It's hard to say because there are areas that should never have been destroyed, in the sense that like forests were destroyed to create farms in marshy areas, and then the soil didn't always grow the best, yield the best farm plants and stuff, because yeah, certain areas are just not meant to be touched. It's like such a sacred wet area, right? You should just leave it alone and let it do its thing. Kind of like me. I kind of represent that. I kind of represent the wetland energy, and I don't know, I just love the earth so much. I think wherever you come from the earth, there's a medicinal quality to where you come from, regardless of where you come from, and there's something to learn from that. Like, to me, I'm from the land of water that gives. Like, the water literally comes out and like goes down to the lower lands into the cities and feeds water. And to me, it's very sacred. It's very special. But I think that every area is so special. There's like, cities are so special because they're full of information exchange. You can constantly communicate socially with people in person. And to me, like, tons of people and new people constantly. To me, that's why I love cities. That's why I miss Toronto, actually, because I grew up kind of, a close drive from Toronto. And Toronto is just so futuristic in the sense that it's multicultural and quite peaceful. And it's just, you can meet people from everywhere. You can learn about every kind of food. You can, make connections with people to go and travel with everywhere. And you can find every single kind of music and the best DJs. I'm being biased because I'm from there, but Toronto DJs often have very open minds. And that's a good thing. But I think that kind of energy is really everywhere to some degree. And right now, I kind of have this ability to sort of telepathically, clairvoyantly connect with, like, the whole greater picture. I'm just like that. And I can tap into what everyone's feeling and thinking, like, around the whole planet and beyond even. Like, I know there's life in outer space. You don't have to even ask me if I know or if I wonder about it. I know there is, because, like, I've communicated with aliens, but I've communicated with them with light. So when they come to me, they come with light. They give me a little light show. They've done it with spheres mostly. First time it ever happened was in Ontario when I was 19, and I was with 19 of my friends, actually, and we'd just gone to play Laser Quest, and I was about to move out west, and I was trying to move out west by myself because I really wanted to travel alone. I'd only traveled alone once when I was 18, well, once when I was 16 too, but when I was 16 I went to my aunt's house. I just went there alone on a plane from Toronto to North Bay, which wasn't really that far, but that was a big deal. It was fun. And I had a lot of independence there, so I was kind of traveling alone, but staying at her house. And then I remember when I was 18, I went on this trip with Further Still, which is, I always meet people before they blow up into fame or success. It's very interesting. I have a lot of great connections, and it has something to do with karma, I think, or just thought process. Like, I always think about success, and I always think about how I know it's my destiny, and not for selfish reasons at all. Like, the reason why I want to be successful financially and beyond, not just financially, but, like, success to me really just means embodying your purpose and, like, appreciating every moment and really embodying your dream, like, being your dream, not chasing your dream. I mean, maybe there is something to that, but, like, to me, it's like just stepping into it and becoming it, being it. And why chase something when you're already it? You're already who you came here to be. Think about that. You don't want to be somebody else. Think about that. How many businesses in the world that are not totally ethical survive on making you think that you want to be someone that you're not? And how often are you buying products that make you feel like you might be able to be more like that person in that advertisement or whatever that you're not, that you always want to reach out to be? No, it's not always like that, I have friends that are models, and I have friends that are, like, in working with amazing, huge companies, and I think business is amazing, and I think there's so many amazing businesses. I'm just really picky with the ones that I support, because I feel like there are a bunch, like, take fashion. There are a bunch of visionary fashion designers that are really pushing cultural edges and, like, really sculpting new cultures that are positive and really encouraging people to take what might seem like a limit in the brain and just smash it open. And that's why I love fashion. That's why I bought this dress. This is a Topshop dress. I've always, for some reason, stumbled upon articles on Kate Moss. I don't look for them. I just always, her face just boom, like, she just stands out to me for some reason. It's maybe something to do with my bloodline or something. Like, she just speaks to me on this silent level, and I think she seems to me to be like a fairy. That's why I like her, because I'm from fairyland. I'm from the woods. She just looks like a woodland fairy to me. So like, I bought this dress because I know that she runs the company Topshop, or she has a lot to do with running it anyway. As far as I know, she runs it. And I don't know, I feel really special about that, you know? Actually, these earrings are from there too. Yeah, I'm like kind of obsessed with that store, which is really surprising to me because for a number of years, I'm 35 now in linear time, but I'm not 35. I don't believe in age or time, and my doctors actually have said that my body is like miraculously still young, and like my adrenaline glands function healthier than the average child's, which is like all connected to just like choosing to create from within all the time. Like I'm always choosing to do what I want. And I feel like in this world, you have to be a warrior if you're going to be that way. At least for now, this can all change. I see it becoming easier because that's why I'm here. You know, I'm here to make things easier for the people younger than me and for everyone. Like, I really want to build a world that encourages more peaceful, blissful, natural creativity. And I think that when more people feel supported to really explore the freedom that comes out of, for example, holding a paintbrush with paint, the whole world will change. You know what? I'm gonna look for this quote that I recently posted. Oh, is this still filming? Hello? Okay, actually I'm not. I'm still learning about technology, and I was going to look for this quote by Martin Luther King, and I don't know how to find it without stopping the filming process right now. So I'm just going to tell you about the quote because I posted it on Facebook the other day like 6 times or 8 times or something. Because when I found it, it meant a lot to me, and it's something that I think about and meditate about a lot. It's a short quote, and I don't remember the exact words, but the meaning of it is basically saying that a nation, and I think this goes beyond nations, it's universal, it's global, but he said like something like a nation that spends more money on war, like military defense, rather than spiritual upliftment, like creativity, right, is approaching spiritual death. And I believe he used those words as approaching spiritual death. And to me, that just represents my life. Like, I've always been into creative visualization naturally, like even before I started hearing about that term. As an adult, I heard like Shakti Gawain wrote a book about it, creative visualization, I think, and I always have practiced creative visualization just through intuition. I've always just loved to play what I call like movies in my head when I'm like daydreaming or whatever. If I'm just like lying in the sun, like I spend a lot of time in the sun and like swimming in beaches and stuff, and I'm really grounded in nature. Like if I want to go swim in the sun for a month straight and camp there, I know how to do that, and I do it. And sometimes I just live on the local berries if it's a really remote location, and sometimes I help people in their gardens and stuff. Like I know a lot of people have like world-class gardens on beaches, and it's amazing. Like, get to know me if you're wise, because I can take you to amazing places. Like, I just want everyone to heal, you know, and so I'm always doing my best to share what wisdom or knowledge I've gathered, and I always have so much more to learn. I really do, and you know, please teach me something that I don't know that's positive, and that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, like I just do stuff like that. Like I'm like a dolphin, you know, and I can swim so far. Like I've swam across Mara Lake with my friend Jocelyn, which is like this huge lake in the Okanagan Valley in the Shuswap area. We did it before the houseboats got out. It's like a lake that's really usually filled with houseboats, and it was just like early in the season, and we had like these wetsuits that we were trying on that she got in a thrift store, and we went down to the lake, and our plan was just to swim, and we got into talking about like boys or something, and then I noticed, I was like, Jocelyn, look. And she didn't notice until I said this, and I didn't notice until just before I said it. I was like, we just swam out to the middle of Mara Lake. This was like one of the most epic nights of my life. I've had a few, but like this was epic. It was mind blowing. We were like in the middle of the lake, and so it's a big lake, right? Big. And so we're like, whoa, these. I guess it's like the material of wetsuits like kind of like makes you float a little easier, so maybe it makes you swim faster or something. It's amazing. So yeah, like it was the middle of the night too. There's a big moon. It was really, really mystical, and we were like, holy shit. She's like, well, we better go back then. And I was like, no, we're in the middle. That means we've made the knowledge. We have the knowledge that we can swim the whole way. If we can swim to the middle of a lake, you can't just swim to the middle without doing the whole thing. You know, it's like not finishing. You gotta finish where you start, right? So I figured because we went that far, we had to swim to the other side. The other side's like nothing, no houses or anything. The side we were on just has like a little cottagey community. And so we did that. We swam across the whole thing, and then we swam across again to get back to where we were staying. And I have a lot of stories like this that'll blow your mind. I swam across a little lake on Cortez Island once too, and that was a big deal at the time. Like it wasn't as big, but it was a big deal. Like a lot of people are afraid to do it because like it is deep water and you can die, you know. And I'm not afraid to die. And I'm very surprised that I'm still alive because I'm really outdoorsy and like woodsy, and like I like jumping off cliffs into lakes and stuff. And like I've risked my life so many times where if I just was a few inches over more, I could have like died on a big rock or whatever. But like I'm so happy because I face my fear all the time. And that's why I tell you about this, because it maybe it'll inspire you or like make you want to make music with me, because it'll give you hints on how magical that'll be, and that'll be good. Yeah, so I have so many ideas. Speaking of music, thank you for being to all the musicians out there that have found me on SoundCloud and on Facebook. You all mean the world to me. I have always felt that you all exist in my intuition, and I feel like, yeah, I've definitely lived, like I grew up where being an artist was weird, and I just did it anyway, you know, and I thought that I was going to be a doctor, actually. Like, I was planning to become an eye surgeon, because I hung out with a lot of eye surgeons as a kid, and yeah, this is getting to be so long. I think I'm just gonna take a little refreshing break, and I'm going to keep going on tangents, and some of it might not make sense because sometimes I get really excited about one subject and then I go on a tangent about another subject. That's just me. I'm just a free spirit, and that's just how I am. So I feel like it's important for me to just like share my authentic, true self with my YouTube channel, because I'm running it. So I have the freedom to do this, which is so epic. I'm so grateful for this. For all the people who've done the work to make this YouTube happen, and to make these computers exist, and to create these opportunities for people like me. This is so amazing, and I'm so grateful, and I do not take this for granted. And I'll probably do another one of these soon. And I'm going to do a lot of these soon this year. This is my goal. Now we're in the Chinese year of the horse. I'm a horse. It's my duty to like blow your minds. I've been preparing for this. I've been doing a lot of internal creative work, and it's been really fun, and I've been sort of avoiding the world. I've seriously had a lot of people try to make me famous, And I kind of, in the back of my mind as a kid, always kind of thought I was going to end up being famous by accident. But I used to say to my friends, I don't want to be famous. My friends would always say, Amy, you're going to be famous someday, because I was always singing. And I had so much pain in my eyes, right? Because I had cataract surgery. And so it's very deep, like, because I've gone through so much pain in my eyes, which to me it's representing global culture and my perspective of it, because I feel like we're blind in the soul in our global culture, and the soul blindness has to be cleared. We have to clear that, and I feel like I've gained so much insight on how to make that happen. So that's like my main message in everything I do, is like, how do we clear the blindness from the human soul? How do we bring the human soul into alignment, not just within our own self, but within everyone around us? How do we assist in this movement of creating human freedom for real human people? Because all people are real people, and we're all united by blood and by our feet walking on the same glowing sphere of beautiful light that I call Earth. Swimming in the same waters, you know? We're all so sacred, and it's such an incredible time. I understand what's going on, so I am going to keep sharing my story, because, you know, I may seem like a flake when I go off on tangents or whatever. I'm just astral. I'm really astral, especially in certain moods. But yeah, I need to reach out to you guys. I need to get to know humanity on a level that really is clear. I can't reach out to you if someone wants to pay me to do something where there's a limit, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you $1 million if you just say this and this and this and not that and that, not any of that. That's not me. So I'm so grateful for finally being able to operate a computer myself. With my eyes, this is a miracle. Like, I didn't know I'd ever be able to do this. And, you know, it's a miracle I'm not operating with a seeing eye dog. I see well enough to drive with contact lenses. It's a miracle. It's another reason why I love technology, contact lenses. Yep. I love living in this time. I think it's the most amazing shift in consciousness. And we are all a part of it. I know this. There are people that say, oh, I'm not a part of this new agey thing. Well, no, you're on Earth. So you're going through the process, whether you are totally awake or just starting to wake up, or whether you're going to wake up in a few years. If you're staying on Earth, you're not going to die, you're going to wake up. Because I'm here, okay? And I'm here with you, and like, I'm not letting you not wake up with me, and I'm not letting you not be free with me. Because there's no point in just me being free if you're not free with me. There's no point. The only point of my freedom is to share it, is to feel that feeling of like other people being free with me. That's where it becomes like more real, you know, like that's where we can really start to grow. Like, we have so much magic coming to us now in the form of galactic frequency light. It's in our DNA. Our DNA is just being activated. We're remembering who we are. And it's special. And I'm grateful to share this with you. So, yeah, I don't know. I might record more soon tonight. I just want to take a break, so I'm going to stop this one. Thank you for listening. If you've actually listened to the whole, like, 1 hour and 23 minutes, you might be intense enough to become a real friend. At least on some level. Yeah, congratulations. Feel free to let me know if you've actually watched this whole thing. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to attempt to do some smaller videos as well, because a lot of my friends tell me that it's easier for them to see the small ones. They're like really busy, you know, students and stuff. Yeah, I'll totally do some small ones too. It'll be fun. It'll be a neat challenge. I like to face challenges. Makes you grow. Alright, so goodbye. I love you. If you're alive, and if you're dead and you're like some kind of spirit watching, I love you too, but you already know that because it's only the human ego that gets in the way of clear love. But yeah, I try not to have much of an ego, like to do a YouTube about my interpretation of what an ego is. I think there's a level of ego that you kind of should have, you know, to keep your individuality, keep your health, keep your ability to really like be who you are, your uniqueness. But then there's the overly inflated ego that just wants to like control everyone else, and like that's the part I don't want. I just want to influence people in a way that benefits. I don't want to control. I don't want to tell you it's always this or always that. I don't want to tell you that you should always eat what I eat because then you could be on my tribe. No, I've seen too much of that. I'm here to connect with all of humanity. My tribe is humanity. My tribe is not an elitist group of ascension people or whatever. Like, yes, I love a lot of people who like to believe that they're in these groups that are higher than everyone else. I'm not like that. Those people usually like me. But I think I have something to teach them because I feel like we're all here together. I feel like it's the whole earth that's the crew, the earth crew. You know, it's like we're all here to recognize the fact that we're all choosing to be here together. We have souls with free will. We chose to come here, whether we realize it or not. We're choosing to be here. It's better than what most people think at this point. And I'm aware of how good it is. You know? I'm aware of what happens to me when I cross a border. I have very good luck. Because I know how to talk to people. I know how to treat every human being with respect. And I've always done that. And so I have nothing to hide. Ever. Nothing to hide. It feels very light. It feels very free. I'm very happy to share that with you. Anyway, enough for now. Take care.